one of the things that I do to try and incorporate mobility into my life without having a formal mobility program is when I'm watching my boys at their soccer game. So it's like I got to get them an hour before the game is there. They do their warm-ups and then the game starts. So it's like 90 minutes or whatever. They have bleachers, which of course are terrible, just awful for
Terrible.
I can't. So what I will do is I will get on the low, like I'll, kind of have a little spot on the low bleacher, but then I will get on the floor into a squat and then just use the bleacher to keep me up because I'll fall backwards or whatever. Or I can use it to kind of like roll out an area like that, the hard metal bleacher.
Yeah,
I'll
sort of get your T-spine or whatever.
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. So let's talk a little bit about, so we've been talking about sitting on the floor. I wanted to talk about maybe incorporating squat position into daily living a couple times a week. Obviously, it's like all the things we've been, it helps you master your squat. So you're getting hip flexion, you're getting knee flexion, a little bit of external rotation in the hip, you're getting ankle, like the dorsiflexion mobility in there. Talk to us about what are some of the ways that why we want to consider sitting in that deep squat. And you'd mentioned other cultures, Indian culture, Japanese culture, I'll throw in like Middle Eastern culture, lots of sitting on the floor, squatting on the floor. Why would this be something that we might want to consider? And then maybe build on some examples in everyday life that we can think about getting into a squatting position. Maybe it's a sitting on the floor at the end of the night with the family or other ways that you or your clients have discovered.
So I'll start by saying that, every physician and expert on the world sort of agrees that your joints are supposed to be able to do certain things. They're supposed to have certain ranges of motion. And sitting in what's called an ass to grass squat, which is just a full squat with your heels on the ground, is normal range of motion.
Hamstrings
now,
on calves,
most of us,
kind of thing, right?
Hamstrings on calves.
Yeah.
Most of us do not have normal range of motion when it comes to the squat. And honestly, through no fault of our own. We probably all were able to do a full ass to grass squat when we were little kids, but our environment is not set up to promote being able to do that motion. Our environments are set up for us to be sitting most of the time. A lot of us have to commute for work or have jobs that require us to sit a lot. And so it's just not a motion that is done on the regular basis in our culture. Our culture is not set up to be in the squat position, but the ability to do a full squat is first of all, it really is such an eye into your general range of motion, just like the sit and rise test. But the thing that I'll compare it to is low back pain. Low back pain is a giant scourge in our society. I mean, the amount of money and time, anybody who's had low back pain, and low back pain is different from this other kind of pain I've been talking about. Anytime you have pain that's connected to your nervous system, as you know, it's different. It's completely different than shoulder pain. If you have shoulder pain, you still might think to yourself, I can go to the gym and I'll just work out with my legs, even though I have shoulder pain, or, any of your other limbs. But because low back pain is connected to your nervous system, your brain freaks out and really tells you to turn off. And one of the predictors of low back pain is, the loss of range of motion and the inability to get into that squat position. So, again, I don't think injury prevention is super motivating for people, just like not ending up in a sniff. But for anybody who's had low back pain, they're going to know that, if there was anything they could have done to avoid having low back pain, and that is simply just practicing a squat every so often, they would have been like, sign me up when I'm 20 so that I don't have to experience this now. So, there are so many ways, though, that we can incorporate this into our life. I mean, again, the sit and rise test is sort of a modified version of a squat, but we have in our book this thing we call the squat challenge. And it is literally just squatting to a chair. And on day 1, you do this once. And then on day 2, you squat and get up twice. And then day 3, you squat and get up 3 times. And then as you practice this, the goal is to try to lower the chair. So can you have a chair, and then can you lower down to a little ottoman or to a coffee table? And then can you lower down a little more? But just incorporating, 1 to 10 squats every day into your life can make a huge difference in your ability to achieve and maintain this position, this sort of key position that the human body is supposed to be doing. I also have a friend, Dr. Marilee Opezzo, she does research at Stanford on exercise snacks, which are effective, by the way. And she's found that just getting up from your desk once an hour and doing 10 squats can sort of make a major difference in your overall health metrics. So that's just getting up and doing 10 air squats. They don't even need to be ass to grass squats. They can be squats in whatever range of motion you have. Those make a major difference in your sort of overall health picture. So, and that's again, not like another huge to-do list. That's just like, okay, I'm getting up to go get coffee. I'm just going to do my 10 air squats next to my desk real quick. And then I also love what you're doing, being creative with it, which is like you're at your kid's game, you've got time to kill, do some air squats, get down into a squat position. Even if you have to squat with your heels up off the ground because you're lacking that range of motion, that's also a great thing to practice. Yep. And that's something I practice almost every day. The other thing I'd recommend if people want to invest in sort of practicing their squat is get a slant board. If you can't achieve a full squat position, get a slant board, put on some Olympic lifting shoes, give yourself a little bit of assistance. You can also just hang on to something and squat and really touch that full squat range of motion. And, your joints and tissues are going to thank you, and you're going to reduce your risk of low back pain, and you're going to be able to really see the difference in your ability to squat with weight in the gym and be able to get full range of motion in your squat in the gym. So, we're big fans of squatting, and I'll tell everybody, it's the most difficult position for me because of my lack of ankle dorsiflexion. So it's something I have to keep my eye on. I am squatting in some form or fashion every single day.
Yeah. And I
just to hang on to that.
The funny thing is too, is I was taught in school, of course, now, class of 2003, it's, this is a little bit coming into outdated information, but we were always taught never train the knee over the toes, below 90.
Don't go below 90.
Yeah, don't go, it's like too much stress on the ligaments of the knee, et cetera. And of course, now we know that, again, when you train in unstable positions, you actually become more stable. Like, who would have thought, right? It's so fun. Sometimes common sense, not so common, even with our teachers. Like we were taught this, and I was an aerobic instructor paying for my way through chiropractic college, doing the step classes, doing all the things. And
yes.
in my certification,
I just want to shout out to step aerobics. I was so into it for a while. Sorry, I have to shout that out.
I'm still into it. There is a step class at my gym, and I love it. I love it. It's my soul food. I love it.
This is a real side, but I follow a guy who does I follow him on Instagram, these amazing step classes.
I think we follow the same person.
Okay.
Yes.
I forget his handle, but I'm obsessed with him. He's African-American.
Yes.
He does, recently he just posted his whole group doing this Michael Jackson song. I mean, I watched that and I was like, I need to go to that class. And I would be terrible. Like, these people are so coordinated and such good dancers.
Yes.
And it looks so fun.
I think we are following the same person, and I forget his handle as well. And I'm going
to send you the next time I see him.
Send it to me on Instagram. I think, and you know what? I think I've stalked them enough that I figured out some of the characters. Like, I think that the woman in the front is like his wife or his girlfriend. There's like one girl.
Oh, I think I found him. Is his name Julius Burfey Stepperton?
I think it is.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And I'm convinced that a few people he has around him are like former professional dancers because they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah. We got to bring step back, man. Like a step. And I got to like rehab for the knee, right? It's like small little bursts of leg extension. If you have VMO weakness, like vastus medialis, like all of that weakness, it's so, so good for it. So love
So
step.
Can I add something else though about the squatting before your son's game?
Yes.
So I've been talking about this for years, and I'm obsessed with that specific period of time, especially for this age group of women. Many of us have kids in youth sports, and many of us are driving somewhere and then getting stuck out there with time to kill. And so I've started this thing, and in fact, it's become so common that, I love that you're squatting, and I'm gonna borrow that if you don't mind, but I have a thing where I would get to the game and, your kid needs to warm up. So you have at least an hour, and usually we're at some high school. So I would just go out onto the track and start walking because I'm obsessed with walking.
Yep.
And what's been so cool is my kids play water polo. What's been so cool now is that I've gotten this whole group of other parents in with me. So now we don't even text about it. We all just show up. We all pull into the parking lot an hour before our kids' games, and everybody gets out of the car and they're like, should we walk? And it's a group of like 10 of us parents. And, if we are at a high school where there's a track, we'll walk around the track. If we're just in some random neighborhood, we'll walk the neighborhood. I mean, it doesn't matter where we are. It's just this given that we're going to arrive and get out of our cars and walk. And usually before our kids' game, we're all getting in like 5,000 steps at a track or walking around a neighborhood or whatever. And it's a great time for us all to talk and connect. And, the alternative is what most parents are doing, which is either sitting in their cars looking at their phones, or going into the game early and sitting in a really uncomfortable stadium seat or in their lawn chair or whatever. So to me, like as a mom, especially a sports mom, like that hour is like this critical time where you can really just do something to nurture your own self. You can walk, you can go sit on the grass and sit crisscross applesauce 90-90. You can squat the way you're doing it. It's like that hour can be this time where you really do something for yourself versus just feeling like you're like, wow, I'm a prisoner in my car in this parking lot in some random high school, who knows where, and I'm going to spend, an hour looking at Instagram. So I love that you're doing the squatting thing, and the next time I'm at a game, I'm doing that.
I love that. I'm so happy you said that because I do the same thing. So I will walk if it's in track. Like, depends on the weather. I'm on the East Coast. So if it's winter, I'm not walking the neighborhood. But what I'll do is I will challenge myself to see how many lunges I can get in before the game starts. Just on the sideline. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. It's like the team before.
They might think you're a little weird, but who cares?
Well, it's like the hour before, it's not even families that I know. It's like some other soccer game with some other parent, like it's some other group. So I'll just do lunges on the side inside the track or inside the stadium before the game starts. And I will challenge myself to see how many single leg, alternating lunges or whatever I can do before the game starts if I'm not walking. But the walking is so great. And then you can also, what I started doing is I just put a weighted vest in the trunk, and then you can put the weighted vest on if you want to amp up the walking a little bit. I mean, nobody cares, right? Like that's the other thing
Nobody
too,
cares.
is everyone is like, oh my God, are people watching me do these lunges? I mean, maybe they start watching you. And then what I've had people, kind of maybe give me a side eye or whatever, but other people are like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Right?
Yeah. And then they want to join you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I was just like, hey, where are we walking? When are we walking? And now the fact that it's just a given, like nobody texts in advance. Nobody's like, are we walking? Everybody's just like, get out the car and where are we walking?
Fantastic.
That's the question.
Fantastic.
It's so cool.
Ugh.